Everyone's going to be watching this. All eyes are going to be on the Chargers, who are 6-3 on the season, and they're going up against the 4-6 Bengals. Now, the Bengals are, without question, one of the better 4-6 teams you'll ever see. I understand they can't run the ball. I also understand that their defense is very, very bad, but they've got Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, who are putting up historic numbers right now, and T. Higgins should be good to go. He was full in practice today. So looking at Los Angeles, they're going to have their hands full because they are the number one ranked defense in the NFL in terms of scoring. Jesse Minter's done a great job. He's probably going to end up being a head coach within the next few seasons. The Chargers ended up talking about this to the media, saying that we're just trying to get the most out of him before we have to face him. And I absolutely agree. But this is the best offense by far that the Chargers have had to go up against this season. They did play the Cardinals. They played the Chiefs, the Steelers, of course, with Justin Fields, but that doesn't compare to what the Bengals are doing right now. They're coming into this game averaging 27 a game, which is sixth in football. 254.8 yards per game is fourth. By the way, the Chargers put up 196.4 yards per game, which is 22nd. Looking at points per game, 20.7, which is 19th. So the Bengals offense has been better than the Chargers by a wide margin. In terms of total offense, 12th for the Bengals, 22nd for the Chargers. On third down, the Bengals are third at 47.29%. The Chargers are 13th at 39.84%. In the red zone, the Bengals are second at 72.41%. The Chargers are 18th at 54.17%. In terms of sacks allowed, 12 for the Bengals, just 23 on the year. Also, the Chargers have 24. It's crazy because you go up 5 spots by just allowing one more sack. And then in terms of turnovers, the Chargers only have 4. They're tied for first. The Bengals have 10, which is 8. So both of them are doing a good job of taking care of the football, but the Chargers are doing an exceptional job. I mean, only 4 turnovers through 9 games is very, very impressive. My thing for Los Angeles is how exactly do they attack this passing offense for the Bengals? Burrow's averaging 254.8 yards per game. He leads the NFL with 2,672 yards and 24 touchdowns. He's only thrown 4 interceptions. His top target has been Jamar Chase, who is leading the league in receptions with 66, receiving yards 981, and touchdowns with 10. I mean, we could be talking about a triple crown season, which is just absurd. The Chargers need to have an answer for Chase. With Higgins being back, they're not going to be able to double team him because all of a sudden that's going to leave T. Higgins one-on-one, which, yeah, might be better than Jamar Chase, but T. Higgins is one of the best jump ball, vertical type of receivers, and I don't think I can name 10 guys in the NFL that I would honestly put over T. Higgins in the sense of just going up and catching a football with a guy over him. For the Chargers, the best thing that they're going to be able to do is keeping the Bengals in third and long situations. Give yourself the most ideal opportunity to be able to stop them, and they should be able to because Cincinnati is 29th in rushing yards per game with 89.7. Chase Brown is the team's lead back. They acquired Khalil Herbert last week from the Bears after Zach Moss sustained a season-ending neck injury. The Bengals just cannot run the ball. It's as simple as that. Against Baltimore, which was on Thursday Night Football, we saw them go to the dump off, which was essentially their running games from short passes. They got their tight ends involved. Multiple receivers caught the football. The Bengals have a lot of talent in their passing attack, and they've got Joe Burrow, who's as good as it gets outside of Patrick Mahomes. Maybe you can argue Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, certainly up there. Lamar, probably the top 5 right there. But Joe Burrow is really just as good as all of them, if I'm being completely honest. He is so talented, and he's got the weapons. But because the Bengals' offensive line, I don't think it's the greatest in particular. I think this pass rush from the Chargers is going to be able to exploit it. It was very good against Tennessee. It was very good against Cleveland. I know those teams don't have the best offensive lines in the world, but they're not that far off from the Bengals. It's just not that great of a unit. And what I saw in the second half against Tennessee, if that can continue to build and give this Chargers defense a front momentum, they're going to be in a great spot. If you can get the Burrow, he's third and long, you're getting pressure, the Chargers are going to win this game very comfortably because I don't think the Bengals defense will be able to stop the Chargers offense. And I was watching ESPN this morning when I woke up, and they were saying how the reason why we think the Bengals are going to win is because, yeah, they might not be able to get a lot of stops, but the Chargers aren't going to be able to score. And I think that's the biggest misconception right now for the Los Angeles Chargers. If you're not watching these games, which clearly they're not, then you wouldn't know this about the Chargers. But my thing with them is, first of all, Justin Herbert's playing the best football of his career. I made a video 2 days ago saying that this is not the same Justin Herbert. And yes, Herbert Obviously, last season, the year before that was good, but now he has the right coaching around him, and we see that because the Chargers 6-3. They're beating up on these teams. A 2-score win over the Titans, a 3-score win over the Cleveland Browns. Same thing with the Saints. Last year, really since Herbert's gotten here, the Chargers are supposed to beat these teams comfortably, and they don't. But Herbert, he's gone out there and he's using his legs, his mobility. He's still completing his passes at a very high rate to some receivers that a lot of people question would they be good enough. Quentin Johnson, who was completely just written off after his first season. Ladd McConkey, to me, coming into the season, was seen as the number one target. A lot of you guys said it would be Palmer. Some of you said it would be Johnson. I thought it would be McConkey. So far, can't say that I've been exactly right, maybe from a yardage standpoint, but it has been Johnson. He's been the go-to guy for those touchdowns. But McConkey, he's going to be dealing with one of the best slot corners in all of football in Mike Hilton. I cannot wait for that matchup. It's going to be really one of the best of the week. But Herbert, I mean, guys, 282 on the Browns, 279 on the Saints, 349 on the Cardinals, 164 against the Titans, but he was efficient. Of course, had a passing touchdown, also had a rushing. Herbert of late, he's just gotten healthier, and we're seeing that because the way he's getting around in the pocket, he's able to step up. And when Herbert has mobility, he's basically unstoppable because when you just keep him in the pocket, you can have a chance to be able to beat him because these receivers are going to be forced to get open. But when Herbert's able to step up and be on the move and just buy himself time for these guys to get open even more, that's when the Chargers become extremely dangerous. But I definitely am going to have my eyes on this defense because it's been so good. It's been without question the best in football. But is it going to be able to stop Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals? And then the week after that, it doesn't get any easier. It actually gets more difficult going up against, probably in my opinion, the number one ranked offense in football, which is the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, I haven't done any research on that, but I'd be willing to bet a lot of money that the Ravens are number one in offense with the way that they're able to run the football. And then Lamar Jackson has somehow gotten even better, which is just ridiculous. And then after that, Atlanta, Kansas City, Tampa Bay, very good offenses. The Chargers are going to be tested, but this is the ceiling of them. We talked about the floor of them being 6-3, beating up on these bad teams, but in terms of how far can they go, well, we're about to find out, because if you can beat the Bengals, you can beat the Ravens. Hell, if you can hang in with the Ravens and be in that game down the stretch, even though it's at home, it's a very good sign. This is year one of Jim Harbaugh. We cannot just forget that. His brother, John, he's coming in. He's been with the Ravens for a very long time. I couldn't even tell you how long, for decades, bro. But for Jim, he just got here. He took over a team that, not that it was terrible, but it had a lot of work to do. Brandon Staley definitely messed it up. Of course, Tom Telesco is with the Raiders now. I didn't think was the greatest in particular as well. You go out and you get a new GM, you get a new OC, you get a new DC. Everything's changed and it's gone for the better. But I mean, even if the Chargers don't play that well in this next stretch, it would be disappointing, but I still have a lot of faith in this organization moving forward. It's probably the first time I've been covering the Chargers since February 2022. And that was actually the time where they went in that big spending spree and everyone was putting them in the Super Bowl. I did too. I actually predicted Eagles, Chargers. I got half of that right. The Eagles went. Injuries killed them for sure. But even then, I was more optimistic. But now knowing that Harbaugh's won at every level and just seeing the way that the team has actually beaten these good teams versus completely just falter, I feel great. But it's going to start with the defense shutting out, or at least nobody's shutting out Jamar Chase, but can you limit him? If Chase has 150 yards and 2 TDs, I don't think the Chargers are winning this game. They could still win it, but I don't think they're going to be able to. And I know they had that against the Ravens. I think Chase actually had 3 touchdowns, and they lost. But again, that's the Ravens offense. The Chargers offense is not even close to the level of the Ravens. Mike Gesicki, he's going to have to get shut out. This guy is a jump ball machine, just like T. Higgins. Trey Hendrickson, making sure to block him. The edges are going to be tested. The tackles are going to be tested. I'm looking at, of course, Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater. And then Ladd McConkey working in the slot against Mike Hilton. But guys, let me know your thoughts down below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? It's your boy Thunder Alley. I'm signing out. Peace.